In today's final touch, it is the world's longest wooden dragon boat.
And it was the centerpiece of a dragon boat festival in southwestern China. Boat over 255 feet long. It weighs around 12 tons. More than 200 women rode the boat while Guinness certified the boat's record-breaking status. It was built in 2016. You should get your son Matthew on this thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they need a little coordination there, I think, with the rowing, but that's okay.
Along. All right, that's our time for now. News Street 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, the search for a missing boy is underway in Columbia County. We'll have a live update on the recovery.
Furniture and garbage is being dumped around town. How officials are trying to deal with the problem.
And a program in Madison is making sure that students have a full belly throughout the summer.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with us, everybody. It's been a humid afternoon, and now there is a possibility for some thunderstorms this evening.
Let's get a look at your first alert. Weather meteorologist Dave Caulfield is in the Weather Center. Dave?
Mark and Susan, good evening. We already have had some pretty strong thunderstorms roll through southern Wisconsin this afternoon, and into this evening, more could be on the way for some of us. An alert day still in the forecast for this evening. Heat indices will be falling into the 70s, so in the heat department, we're looking better, but still some strong thunderstorms and heavy rain possible over the next couple of hours. That cold front has dipped right to the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. You can see that's where basically our main line of thunderstorms is setting up right now, but still some thunderstorms could be forming a little bit farther north than that over the next few hours, so we can't exactly put our umbrella away just yet in Madison, even though we are seeing some blue skies right now. Current conditions, we are at 84 with mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies, wind out of the north at 12 miles per hour. Dew point still at 74, so lots of energy still around for some storms to pop up. Some other temperatures in the 70s, closer to where that rain has been falling in Waukesha and Milwaukee, 88 in Mineral Point, and close to 90 in Boscobel. It's a bit of a temperature change, especially for spots a little bit closer to Lake Michigan. Dew points in the 70s and 60s this evening. We'll be hopefully getting a little bit less humid soon. Wind speeds out of the west, and north at about 15 miles per hour. Some of those storms could have some gusty winds associated with them this evening. Scattered thunderstorms, some downpours are possible with temperatures falling through the 70s into the upper 60s. When I come back in just a few minutes, we'll talk about much cooler temperatures on the way, but still those storms sticking around in your first alert forecast.
All right, Dave, thank you. A boy is believed to be dead after vanishing in a Portage Lake last night, and recovery efforts are continuing this evening.
Our Madeline O'Neill is live from Silver Lake near Portage with the latest on the search and what comes next. Maddie?
Mark and Susan, this is the lake divers have been searching in for most of the day. They've now expanded the perimeters north, and they've brought in a specialized canine from Dane County to help out. The search began a little after 6 last night and restarted again early this morning. Along with Columbia County and Sauk County divers, the DNR is assisting with a specialized underwater drone. And any extra help is important because officials tell us the lake is dark, murky, and full of thick weeds, making the search more difficult on divers.
Our divers last night came up not only entangled in weeds, but also in fishing line and lures and that sort of thing. So if you were struggling to swim and you got down into that kind of environment, you could certainly become entangled in it.
Police say they've been in contact with the boy's family, offering grief counselors for support. And now you can take a look here. We have the canine out on the boat. That's the canine brought in from Dane County assisting in the search. And officials are telling us tonight that this beach is closed. The beach, the boat landing, the park, and anyone who lives on the lake is asked to avoid the water until further notice. Now the search will continue for a couple more hours tonight and will resume tomorrow morning if need be. Mark and Susan.
All right, Madeline, thank you. A jury found a Madison man guilty for his role in a homicide on the city's north side last summer. A jury found Donald Davis Jr. guilty Friday of being party to first-degree intentional homicide, party first-degree reckless injury, and eluding an officer. Davis was one of 3 people charged in Sierra Pulamuli's death, including Jennifer Lovick and Corey Johnson. Johnson pleaded guilty to second-degree reckless homicide in May. He has not yet been sentenced. Lovick is sentenced to be back in court, or scheduled, that is, to be back in court on June 29th. A sentencing hearing for Davis has not yet been scheduled.
A former federal agent pleaded guilty last week to taking photos in a woman's restroom at a UW-Madison residence hall. Justin Fahey of Monona pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of capturing an intimate representation. According to the criminal complaint, a woman using a Whitty Hall bathroom noticed a man's legs in the stall next to her and then saw a hand holding a phone go under the stall as she pulled up her pants. Officials say security footage shows Fahey was in the restroom for at least 14 minutes. The ATF confirmed he had been employed with the agency, but 5 days after the incident, he was no longer employed there. One person is dead as a result of flooding in northern Wisconsin. Heavy rain from this weekend wiped out several roads in the region and caused dozens of sinkholes. The body of a 74-year-old man was found near his pickup along a flooded road in Ashland County. A flood warning is in place for the area until Thursday.
A Wisconsin court case that could decide who represents you at the state capitol will head back to a lower court after a long-expected ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court. Justices unanimously ruled against Wisconsin Democrats in the case. Wisconsin Republican leaders say they are very happy with the decision and were confident the court would rule in their favor. The legislative district maps were drawn in 2011 after Republicans swept the Capitol and the governor's office in 2010, but Democrats argue that Republicans in power drew those maps in their favor, meaning certain voices are not being heard and voters aren't treated equally. Meanwhile, Governor Walker says the decision allows lawmakers to continue focusing on issues that move the state forward.
I think the lines are fair when we sign them, and the bottom line is the United States Supreme Court, on a unanimous decision, decided the state of Wisconsin was right in its case.
I certainly think that anybody looking at these districts in the state of Wisconsin, they're clearly gerrymandered, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the voters in the state of Wisconsin that the Republicans chose to do this.
The lead plaintiff in this court case is a retired UW law professor. The court argued that because he lives in Madison and isn't directly affected by redistricting, he doesn't have standing in this case. That case now heads back to the Western Wisconsin U.S. District Court.
The city of Milwaukee is pushing to host the 2020 Democratic National Convention. City leaders formally submitted their host bid today. Milwaukee's mayor touted the city as affordable and easily accessible. City leaders are suggesting that the new Milwaukee Bucks Arena would be the ideal main venue. This video shows the progress being made on the arena. The 2020 convention is scheduled to be held from July 13th to the 16th.
A woman is in the hospital this evening after her car hit a downtown Janesville building. Police say the woman suffered from some kind of medical condition while she was driving. She hit another car and then ran into the side of Echo. It's a nonprofit in downtown Janesville. Police say she was hurt, taken to the hospital, but no one else was injured.
Yes, there were people inside during the time it was hit. We know that some of the plaster on the sides of the wall and a little bit of some of the structural items inside of it were bent a little bit from it.
The woman also ran over a fire hydrant. Police had High Street blocked off for a little bit, but everything is back open now. People in the town of Beloit are getting frustrated that garbage and furniture is being dumped along the countryside. Our Rock County reporter Jenna Middow has more. And she tells us what the town is doing to try and stop it. Jenna.
Town officials say the fines for dumping have recently been raised, but it's hard to figure out who's leaving stuff like this behind.
There is a lot of trash dumping.
Ashley Frederick doesn't know where garbage like this comes from.
It just appears.
But she wants it to stop.
It's really just a big eyesore, and it looks trashy.
Frederick says these bags of trash are pretty minor compared to what people normally dump along the street she lives on.
Couches and trash and baby pools.
This has been an issue for well over 30 years, but it's definitely picked up lately.
Forcing the public works crews to pick up the discarded items.
In general, we're out there at least once every week or two.
Public Works Director Joe Rose says the town is trying to find ways to discourage illegal dumping.
We've raised the fines. We've tried to step up patrols, I know, at the police department, but, you know, we cannot be everywhere at all times.
And people aren't getting the message.
There's places that you can dump it. You know, it might cost a couple dollars, but you can still, you know, take it to like dump sites in Janesville and get it dumped there, you know, instead of dumping it out in the country.
Frederick says she hopes the town increases the fines even more and puts up cameras to catch the culprits who are contaminating the countryside. The police chief says 6 people did receive citations for illegal dumping last year. Reporting in the town of Beloit, I'm Jenna Middaugh, WISC News 3.
And the police chief says they depend on people to report any dumping or anything suspicious by calling the Rock County non-emergency number. That is 757-2244.
The Madison Metropolitan School District is starting a summer meal program today, trying to make sure that Madison kids get enough to eat over the summer. The program kicked off with a celebration at Leopold Park. Anyone under the age of 18 can eat for free every weekday this summer, and it runs until August 10th. The meals will be at parks, community centers, and summer schools across the city. Organizers say it's increasing access for students who rely on school for steady meals.
So when that last school bell goes out in the summer, their food security issues don't disappear. So this program aims to provide a reliable source of meals, so that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks at over 50 sites.
To find the nearest food program location, you can text the word food to 877-877 or go to the MMSD website. Still to come tonight on News 3 at 5, the president is calling on Congress, specifically Democrats, to change immigration laws.
Plus, we'll have the latest from Capitol Hill as the FBI director is answering questions about the Hillary Clinton email probe. And on Wall Street, the Dow down 103 points, the NASDAQ up a fraction. The S&P, however, down 6. We'll be right back. Well, the Trump administration is doubling down on its zero-tolerance approach to border security.
The administration says it will prosecute any adult who illegally enters the country. The policy was announced in April by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Children cannot be held in adult jails, and in less than 2 months, some 2,000 minors have been separated from the adults that they crossed the border with. This afternoon, President Trump said his administration is being scapegoated for enforcing existing immigration laws. He's calling on Congress to enact new legislation.
If the Democrats would sit down instead of obstructing, we could have something done very quickly. Good for the children, good for the country, good for the world.
Tomorrow, President Trump will meet with House Republicans to talk about immigration strategy ahead of this year's midterm elections.
Meanwhile, about 24 Wisconsin Guard troops are headed to Arizona to bolster border security. The Wisconsin National Guard announced today that Arizona officials had requested the state's help. The Wisconsin troops are volunteers from different units around the state. Additional Wisconsin troops are expected to head to Arizona in the coming weeks. They'll be under state control by federally funded. They'll be under state control though, but federally funded. Is what I'm trying to say.
Got it. FBI Director Christopher Wray went to Capitol Hill today to answer lawmakers' questions about last week's watchdog report about the Hillary Clinton email probe. Last week, the Justice Department released its internal report on the Clinton email investigation, slamming the FBI for misjudgment and missteps. It also found insubordination on the part of former Director James Comey, but no evidence of political bias. Wray told the Senate Judiciary Committee that he's committed to making sure the agency doesn't repeat any mistakes made during the Hillary Clinton email investigation.
This report is focused on a specific set of events back in 2016 and a small number of FBI employees connected with those events. Mistakes made by those employees do not define our 37,000 men and women and the great work they do every day.
Let's not pretend like this was some one-off problem. There is a serious problem with the culture at FBI headquarters.
The FBI is promising to retrain all of its employees. Wray said that he won't hesitate to, quote, throw the book at agents who violate the rules. Authorities say there are a growing number of scams hitting small businesses. The Federal Trade Commission and the Better Business Bureau are now joining forces to warn companies. Common scams include fake invoices where scammers try to charge a business for products or services they never delivered. Imposters also try to trick companies into paying for non-existent online advertising. And scammers who claim to be with the IRS threaten to take legal action if a small business doesn't pay up.
If there is even the slightest doubt in your mind that this is something that may not be real, that you should take the time to investigate it.
A new survey found small businesses are losing $7 billion to scams every year. Con artists often try to create a sense of urgency, and they want untraceable payment methods, which are two major red flags.
With jet fuel prices on the rise, some airlines are working to make their planes lighter to save money. A team at United Airlines rethought everything about its aircraft, from what's stocked in the galley to redesigning bathrooms. Some got smaller to new lighter seats, many without heavy video monitors. New cargo containers are about 80 pounds lighter, which will save 2 million gallons of fuel a year. And stopping duty-free sales saved United another 1.4 million gallons. That's a combined savings of about $7 million.
All this doesn't make the planes any faster, and it certainly doesn't make them any more comfortable. In fact, it's just about fuel efficiency and fuel savings, and that just gets back to the airlines. There's no real passenger benefit.
Southwest is rolling out slimline seats in its new 737 MAX fleet. They're lighter, take up less space. JetBlue is saving weight with its new in-flight entertainment system. It'll feature lighter components that take up less storage space. Squeeze in, everybody.
Right, exactly. Let's head out to the weather patio. Dave Caulfield is watching the forecast. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Susan and Mark, had to grab the umbrella just a few seconds ago because another shower starting to roll through Madison at the present time. The better shower chances are along with that front closer to the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, but still we do have shower chances and storm chances in the forecast with all this humidity still in the air for the rest of this evening into tonight. Check out some of these 48-hour precipitation estimates. They are startling in spots, especially closer to the Northwoods. Close to 6 inches of rain estimated by radar over the past 2 days alone, and closer to Madison with those heavy storms that were coming through early on Saturday morning. About 4 to 5 inches not out of the question in some of those storms and over the past couple of days. So our departure from normal, we're actually ahead of schedule in Madison, way ahead of schedule in Rockford, about 4 inches ahead of schedule at this point. Now our June precipitation, we are up to about 3.5 inches of rain, and we're adding to that drop by drop, as you could hear on my umbrella. And things are definitely looking rainy for the time being as we head into the next couple of days. Wow, that shower has really picked up out here, so hopefully you all can hear me. We have a severe thunderstorm watch until this evening, until 10 p.m. for much of Iowa. We could see some showers and thunderstorms moving through the area at the present time, and also along that front closer to the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. No severe weather at the present time, but that could change because still a lot of energy in the atmosphere. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s depending on how much rain you may have received, and dew points still very steamy outside. Wind speeds are generally out of the north at about 15 miles per hour in spots. Our high temperature trend, we will stay in the 70s, so I think the heat is done for the time being, which is good news. But the storms, they're not done, folks. They are sticking around for the foreseeable future because that cold front dips to the south, but we have another low pressure system moving in for the next couple of days. So storm chances here tomorrow, Wednesday morning. Then we can get a little bit of a break in for Wednesday into Thursday before those storms come back once again. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms. This is pretty crazy. Muggy and mild outside with temperatures in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, much cooler with showers and storms possible and temperatures near 70. We'll take a look a little bit closer to home on Future Track with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. We're looking at things staying pretty stormy over the next couple of days, and the chance for thunderstorms in the forecast for the majority of Tuesday. Wednesday morning, we should start to see things calm down just a little bit. So let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. We can see things definitely staying unsettled over the next 7 to 10 days or so. Temperatures are staying in the 70s, and as we head into next week, we'll be in the 80s with that humidity coming back in full force. It is still steamy out here, folks. That is why we are still looking for some showers and thunderstorms. So some storms are possible for the commute home. We're taking a look at Todd Drive in the Beltline right now. Things are looking good across Dane County. That accident has been lifted across the Beltline, and things are still pretty slow in the Beltline midsection, but overall not looking at too many delays, although we did just have an accident pop up a little bit closer to Gammon Road there, University Ave, Verona Road. That's 11 minutes right now with an average speed of around 35 miles per hour, and that is your first alert traffic. Just because that front isn't nearby doesn't mean we're not going to get a shower or downpour or two, and that chance exists for the next couple of hours.
Is it rain?
No, I don't even know. I need to get inside, guys, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
I think the weatherman should come in out of the rain.
Dave, you are a pro. Good job, buddy.
Right. The World Health Organization is adding a new disorder to its list of diseases. We'll tell you what it is when we come back. The World Health Organization announced it is classifying excessive gaming as a disorder.
The move could lead to more help for people who suffer from the problem. Meg Oliver reports from New York.
The World Health Organization added gaming disorder to the latest draft of its classification of diseases.
It's really a small percentage of people who game who have this disorder.
The health body says the disorder is characterized by the continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences.
Originally, when I started gaming, it was fine.
Cam Adair, the founder of the website Game Quitters, says gaming forced him to drop out of high school.
I was pretending to have jobs, playing video games up to 16 hours a day, and eventually actually wrote a suicide note, and that's when I realized I needed to make a change.
This is similar to substance abuse.
Absolutely.
Psychologist Michael Fraser says he's seen an increase in the number of patients who come to him for help.
There's a lot of arguing, and sometimes it escalates and gets physical when the parents have to actually physically pull a controller out of their kids' hands.
It's estimated consumers spent $36 billion on video games last year. The designation may lead to insurance companies covering treatment. Dr. Fraser says he sees excessive gaming as a condition connected to other mental health issues.
They may be depressed, or they may be anxious, and they may be socially anxious. What these video games provide for these children is a social outlet where they don't have to leave their house, they don't have to run the risk of being bullied.
But some mental health experts have criticized the classification, saying there isn't enough evidence to support it. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
The World Health Organization agrees that currently there isn't enough data, but says including the disorder will lead to more reliable studies.
Another check of our weather when we come back. We had a rainbow.
Look at that.
From our Channel 3 Skycam. We'll be right back.
Well.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, we will have extensive coverage from the Mexican border as a zero-tolerance approach to illegal immigration separates kids from families. Gail King is in Texas, along with a team of correspondents on both sides of the border. We will also have a brand new CBS News poll on how Americans feel about the policy. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And Dave's here. Final check of the weather. The sun's out now here.
Oh, isn't that just great?
You got a little damp out there?
Yeah.
Look at Dave's pants.
These are my pants right now. You know, I hate when I'm right and then it costs me.
And there you go.
You know,
well,
sometimes that happens. Yeah. But we do have a great view from our Skycam right now. We had a rainbow, and we still do have one in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Still a chance of showers, so have an umbrella that hopefully works as you head into this evening and later tonight as well.
Comes down in a hurry.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here at 6.